Good morning. So, welcome to Michelle Lives Embodied. Today, we're going to talk about choices that we make and how they influence our lives. Because, becoming the woman that you admire, it really starts with choices. Like, I chose to start putting myself first, and that's where my transformation began to start to become the woman that I admire. And I would say that probably started for me when I was, suffering the loss of a very good friend of mine. She unfortunately passed away. She lost her life. She got very sick. She suffered from kidney failure, and then she got sepsis. And that kidney failure was a result of her addiction to pain pills and other medications, and excessively drinking alcohol with those medications. Um, and to see that, and in myself also, that I was going through something very similar with her, as her, that really opened my eyes. But it didn't happen right away. There was a moment there where I wanted to give up. I did. I wanted to give up on life. But then I could hear the voice in my head say, and maybe this was, my inner voice. Maybe it was God. Maybe it was my higher self, But I heard it. And I heard it speak to say that I had a choice to keep going, right? I have a choice to keep going and fight for life. I wasn't ready to give up quite yet. And good thing that I didn't, right? That was a very hard time in my life. And I made a choice to continue living. And look, the butterfly. It's beautiful. So, okay. Sorry. She's so pretty. I made a choice to keep living. I made a choice not to go down the road of ending the pain that I was having inside myself. I would say that's when the real transformation started. It started. It took time, and it's not something that happens immediately and overnight, because it's been almost 9 years since she's left us. In 9 years. And after that, yes, I decided I wanted to continue with life. But I was still struggling. I was still struggling to find my purpose. I was still struggling to find who I was becoming, who I wanted to be. I had no direction. Starting over from trying to find who you are, you have to ask yourself, do I want to keep making choices based off the past life that I've lived? Or do I want to start making choices that are more aligned with where I want to go? But I think it is really going to figure out who you want to be. What is your purpose? What is your calling? What pulls those strings in your heart? Right? I started, of course, really transforming my mindset when I was a few years living with my parents. I think I had to move back in with my parents in 2018, and I was still kind of lost there, not, still searching for my purpose in life. Somewhere along the way, I lost it. And, that's when I really started getting into the tarot. And believe it or not, there's two sides of it. You can see the negative and you can see the positive. I understand how energy works, and that's why I don't really see the bad in the tarot, because everything is energy. We are energy. We're, made out of vibrational energy. And all of that is transmuted into things like a card. So, a chair, this phone, this that I'm wearing, we're all energy, vibrational energy. And of course, you guys next door are cutting the grass. So I hope you can hear me, okay? That's all right. So, I guess what I'm trying to say in my message is what I'm trying to teach is that no matter how dark those days become or get for you, don't give up on life. I know somebody out there is going to watch this that was in a position that I was in 6 years ago and want to give up on life. Because you may feel like there's no purpose, but there's always a purpose. And trust me, you will find your purpose. You are not alone. You don't have to struggle alone. You just have to ask for help. Don't be scared or ashamed. I think the biggest problem for us is that maybe we struggle too much with the shame of not being perfect. Maybe that's one thing that I know I struggled with, a lot of shame. And I think that shame started when I was very young, very, very young. There were some things that happened that I didn't realize when I was younger that really affected me in a way I didn't realize that affected me, and it's a lot of and it's things that in a large family they just kind of brush it under the rug, oh, it's a normal thing that happens. But I don't honestly think that's true. I think that it was just something that maybe they thought was normal growing up because maybe it happened more frequently, but it's not normal. I don't think it's normal at all. But it's something that I feel like definitely made me feel a lot of shame inside of myself. And I was just a child. So, I don't know. So, I struggled a lot with that shame. And I think that had a lot to do with why I was always never felt like I was good enough, because of that shame that I had. Right? So, and I used to not be able to talk about it without crying, because it was really something that was buried for a long, long time. And I think once you release that pain, the guilt and the shame, and I don't know if the guilt comes from the guilt of not standing up for yourself, maybe, or maybe that's a possibility, right? I'm 43 years old, and I'm still trying to figure out how and why we do the things that we do. I don't think we'll ever actually know, because the mind is so complex. The psyche is so complex, and trying to understand it, it's hard, you know. Trying to understand yourself. I did get 7 Brew today, you guys, because I didn't go get coffee yesterday, and I needed coffee. Not needed. I wanted, let's be honest, I wanted a coffee, so I went and got it. I mixed in some protein powder, so I made it like a protein coffee. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Anyway, so I did bust out my tarot cards. You know, I'm gonna go further into that. You know, the choices that we make affect our life. You know, choosing to live in the present, choosing to be present now with what you have, and being grateful for the opportunities that you have now in life, right? The choice to stay living in the past, in that shame, in that grief, is holding you back. It's holding you back from becoming the woman that you wanted to be. Because sometimes we feel like that pain is the only thing that we have to grasp onto that gives us something meaningful, but it just means that you're just letting that past hold you back, instead of focusing on the present, on the choices that you have power to make and that are in your control today. So whatever happened to you in your past, maybe whether you had control or a choice back then, you have a choice now. Every day is an opportunity to make better decisions for yourself, take better care of your mind, your body, and your spirit. Like, do what you need to do to heal your heart and your spirit. Like, it's really up to you at this point. You can watch 100 videos about becoming the better version of yourself, but if you don't take the steps or make a move or actions towards being better, you're gonna stay in the same position. Nothing's gonna change. So, and I guess what prompted the conversation today is because I did pull out my tarot cards. I was just a little curious. I haven't really pulled them out in a really, really long time, and the choice card came out. And so I was reading this deck that I used to use, haven't used in a long time. It's from the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. And I'll just give you a little quick, because I know this is not off subject, maybe not everyone will like it, that's okay. So the choice card, the key words that we want to remember are that of course, we already know that our choices create our reality, right? We know that our beliefs, what we choose to believe, that's our choice, right? And that's what we have control over. Not taking action or steps to move towards the type of person or the woman that you want to become, that's also a choice. You know, choosing to procrastinate. If you're wanting to start a YouTube channel and you've been procrastinating, I procrastinated for years. I never started my YouTube channel. I wanted to do tarot and I didn't do it. And I lost 6 years. Because, a choice of procrastination can cost you. So, and I talk about it, how bringing awareness to those choices that you make and how they influence you moving forward. So be mindful of those choices that you make, especially when you're wanting to become a better version of yourself. This life, this transformation is, what can I say? It's a journey like no other. This life it's a beautiful life. Life can be beautiful if you choose to let it be. Right? So embody and being in the present now, making choices for yourself to nourish your mind and your body and your spirit with things that fulfill you. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there for today. I know I rambled a lot. I was very organized or structured in our video today, but it's okay. Not every day can be perfect, and I'm not trying to be here to be perfect. I'm just being who I am and who I know to be. And the tarot is part of my past of who I am and why I am who I have become today. And it is what it is. Whether you like it or not, I'm sorry. Not everybody believes in that. Okay. So, thanks for joining in for day, I think it's day 19. I'm losing track of my days already, but the sun is starting to beam. I'm going to finish getting ready to go to the gym. So just let me know how everything was. What choices are you making today to start becoming the woman that you admire? Put it in the comments. Let me know if you guys have any thing that you would like to talk about. I'd be open to doing some videos on what you guys would. So let me know what you think about the tarot too. Bye. Love you.